Hi everyone, I'm just going to make this little video to try and give you a bit of advice. I know some of you now are getting super desperate and it could have been 6-7 weeks since you last had your roots done, and I know you're going to need to do a little box colour, but what we're asking you to do is only do your T-section and around your hairline. As you can see, I'm very grey myself and I'm 50 in 2 days and I've got to do something about them. I can't turn 50 with those grey roots. So here we go. So, with every application before you start, you must do a skin test. I know you have your colouring salon, but these are different. I can't even sort of really recommend what to put on. All I will say is the first figure that you see on any numbering system, 1 to 10, the first number is the depth. So a base 6, they'll call it a dark blonde, which will make you think as though that's a blonde haired colour. That's really about a mid-brown. A base 5, you're going into a dark brown. A base 4, you're verging on very dark brown to nearly to, not black, but quite dark. So my advice will always be, just go that one shade lighter rather than thinking, oh yeah, that's what I want because it looks like that on the box. So before starting your application, what I've actually done, I've sectioned off, the top section here, as you can see, and I've fastened this back in a ponytail. This will stop the hair becoming overcrowded that I don't know what I'm doing with it all. And if you make sure you're getting your crown at the back, you'll sort of see your crown, because if you just look in the mirror, it naturally just parts forward, and that's the bit you do want to catch as well. So before we do, just make sure you comb everything down. And when you get your brush, whether it be a brush or a toothbrush, not too much colour onto your brush, just a little bit, hold it down on one side and start your application. Nice and neat. If you don't want to have too many flyaways going, all the way back. Same again, hold this side down. As you can see, I'm keeping it quite neat, dabbing it on, all the way back. A nice little coverage, but what I'm not doing, I'm keeping it under control. I'm not sort of slopping it all down the lens, because that's the one thing that you don't want to do. But if you take either a tail comb, take your next section out of the way, pull it across and hold it down. Try not to drop it on the table as I've just done. Watch your towel. I don't actually say do it somewhere where it doesn't actually matter if you spill too much, so don't sort of be doing it in your bedroom or in the lounge or wherever. Somewhere where you can tidy up and protect yourself. Obviously I've got a towel, as you can see, it keeps getting in the way. But this is what happens when you're in the kitchen and not in the comfort of the salon. Oh. Also, when choosing your colours, ladies, just remember to go something, it's never going to be the exact colour match that you're going to find, because all those colours we mix up for you in the salon, they're bespoke to you, and it's usually mixed up by 2 or more colours at a time that we mix up just to get the correct formulation. So I would just go with something that's as near as possible. But if you keep it to just the T-section, don't be tempted to start thinking, oh, I'm going to do a little bit more, because if it goes wrong, it's going to cost a lot of money to put it right. If you just do this small section at the top and keep it to the roots, even if it is a little darker, it's not quite right, it's a lot easier to correct and a lot less costly to correct than if you think, oh, I'm going to go and try and give myself the full colour change. I'm hoping this is helping you all, just to put you on. Hopefully we'll be back open in about 3 weeks. 1 minute you think we're going to be back open, the next minute it seems a bit doom and gloom. Oh. If there's anything that I can help you all with, just put a message in the box below. You know, in the comments, that's the word I'm looking for. My daughter's prompting me there. She's filming me this, but she's prompting me, but she thinks I'm a bit silly anyway, so it don't matter. And then flip it over back to the other side. If you've got somebody that can help you put this on as well, that's even better, you know, than just doing it yourself. But make sure you can trust them, because I've seen some people doing things on Facebook and on Instagram, and I think they're going for laughs. but I think sometimes they're not quite always informed their partner what they're going to do. Some of the haircuts that I've seen. I think you get the gist now, but then I'm just going to go back down my hairline. If you're wearing your hair up, I'd probably just flick it up along the hairline at the back as well, especially if you've got a full white band. My real biggest thing to you would be, if you can wait, I'd wait. For you highlighted people, don't try to do anything. Honestly, you cannot recreate highlights off a box colour, off of Root Retouch that way. You're better off just sitting it out, using your Root Resprays. And if you're highlighted anyway, my best advice is just keep your hair quite clean, because once it's washed, it always looks a lot brighter anyway. But as you can tell, I don't think I've actually styled my hair since we had the lockdown. I think I've become the laziest person ever. I'm actually going to make sure I blow dry my hair tonight. That is for true, because that's all I do. I've turned into Wurzel Gummidge. I've actually said I've turned into Wurzel Gummidge. It's the lived-in look. But on the other side of that, I'm trying not to use any heat treatments on my hair. I'm trying to give it a rest. And this is what we should all be doing really, keeping it well nourished, because you want to make sure that you put a lot of moisture in there. It's like with your skin as well. We can't have our treatments, we can't have our facials, but it just makes sure that you keep your skin well nourished. It'll stop it looking drying out, and that way it always looks less wrinkly, more plumped, and that's what we all want in. If you're needing, also don't use any cheap supermarket shampoo. They are the worst. They'll strip your colours out faster than anything. Don't look after, they just coat silicone on your hair all the time. There you go, ladies.